welcome to Sunstar Knits. I'm Eleanor, and today we are going to do a little bit of another knit and chat, just because it's Monday the 25th, so the Monday before Thanksgiving here in the States, and probably bring my knitting project back. And I haven't actually filmed a video in quite a while. I know today you will actually have gotten a video. I believe you will have gotten a podcast. But that podcast was filmed on the week of the 5th, November the 5th. So at minimum 20 days ago. I know it wasn't filmed on election day, but I did film it a couple days after the election, I believe. So it's been over 2 weeks since I've last filmed, or 2 weeks since I last filmed. So sorry. Don't look at me like that. My dog is staring at me. Oh, he's gonna want to go outside. You want to take a trip with me? Maybe not. He's part husky, so it is very noticeable when he wants you to do something, because he will either sit down and stare at you, which is kind of what we've trained him to do, or he will bark at you. So if you hear barking and then suddenly the video looks like it skipped, that's probably because I'm letting him out. And I paused it for one reason or another. So yes, any random noises that don't look like they're coming from me is because of this. Okay, he very much wants me to go outside. Look, yep, that's the exact behavior. I will be right back, or we'll take a little field trip to my dining room table. Okay, we took a bit of a field trip. He absolutely loves the snow. It's currently snowing right now. I don't know how well you can see it. So he is probably going to sitting out there for quite a bit. So we are going, gotta move a fan. We've got a bunch of fans in the winter to blow hot air up to my room, because I live on the 3rd floor and in the back of the house with no heating in my room. So it gets a little cold. I have a heated blanket though, so that's okay. But I forgot what I was saying. So this is actually take 2 of this. So last night, no, it wasn't last night. It was Saturday night. I filmed an hour-long, pretty much, I think it was like 58 minutes or something, hour-long knit and chat, talking about all manner of things that, of course, I don't remember. And my microphone died in the middle of, not even the middle, 28 minutes into it. I think around the 30-minute mark. So a little over halfway into it. And I didn't notice until the very end. So I had 0 audio for half of that. So my mic's obviously been charged, and I am ready to go for take 2. We are not in my room because it's snowing, so I figured I would come watch the snowfall and see it accumulate. Honestly, depending on how long this goes, I might put on my snow boots after I've finished filming this and go shovel the deck, just because it's easier, because this is supposed to be a bigger storm. I think it's been pushed back. It was supposed to start snowing heavily on Saturday, and it was supposed to end tomorrow, but it didn't. It snowed, but mostly it was pretty dry and didn't really snow or do anything the past couple of days. And so this is the first day it's really been heavily snowing. So I'm expecting at least a foot, but at least it's powder. So, and when I say powder, I mean like right now, it's currently, I think, let me go check, hold on. So it's currently freezing, so that's 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius. So the powder or the snow should be relatively light. It does snow, for all of you guys if you don't live in a snowy climate, it does snow when it's not freezing. It all just depends on the temperature of where the clouds are, if it snows or not. At least that's my understanding of it. So, sorry, I'm checking for my dog. So, the colder it is on the ground, though, the lighter and nicer the snow is to shovel or ski on. So the fact that it's 32 means it's going to be pretty light snow. It should be pretty light snow and pretty easy to shovel and get rid of. I'm going to go call my dog back in just because I can't see him in the yard anymore. And he does tend to run around. And even though he is a black dog and this is now a white background, oh, I see him down next to the neighbor's house. It's not necessarily nice to have our dog running around the neighborhood. So I am going to call him back inside. I will be right back. Okay, I can see him coming back. He saw it through the window. Oh, you can't see it. You can see your breath right now. So you're currently hanging out the door. Here he comes. Okay, sit. So, because he's all covered in snow and he got snow on his paws, we're not going to lock. There we go. Gotta close it fully. Okay. We have to dry him off. So, we have a towel next to the door. And he doesn't quite like this very often because he really doesn't like people touching his feet and stuff. But now he doesn't have to sit there for 5 minutes until he dries off. So, back to the couch. I'm gonna get all the funky angles in this. Back to the couch we go, where he's probably going to sit and stare at me because right before filming this, I had breakfast. So I have my plate of food right here. So it's got an apple, or it's got half an apple and half of a piece of a sourdough English muffin that my mom baked the other day. So, yes, so that will be, oh no, he's going to look outside the window. So, I guess I should tell you what I'm working on, because that was a pretty big, long little tangent there. I should bring you guys closer, because if you didn't know this, apparently on Samsung phones, you cannot zoom in and out during on videos. Because yes, I use my phone to film because I don't have money for like a camera. And I don't think I need a camera because again, this is just like a fun hobby. Nothing too serious, not expecting it to go anywhere. So I am currently working on the sleeve of the Breeze sweater by Lassie Mattenberg. This sweater is for my dad. I am using 5mm needles, which is a size down from the recommended needle size of 6mm. So in order to get gauge, I had to size down. And I'm using Drops Lima, which is more of a DK, and this pattern, I didn't realize it, but this pattern calls for worsted. But the reason I didn't really think about it is because he doesn't give you the weight of the yarn that's recommended. He just gives you the yarn he used, which is some Scandinavian thing that I couldn't get here in the States, or I would have to pay like an exorbitant amount in shipping to like get it from internationally. So I decided I was just going to do drops, and then I ended up being like, oh, well, if I'm going to, this all started because I wanted to knit my grandma's sweater because I love my grandma. I had just finished crocheting my mom a granny hexagon cardigan, and I was like, well, okay, I guess I can make like everyone a sweater. So I had gotten this book for my birthday because I really liked a lot of the patterns in it and wanted to make a lot of the patterns. Sorry, snow just fell off the roof. Yeah, if you ever see me looking this way, there's 3 windows right here, and I'm looking out of them because I see movement, or it's just pretty because it's the first like real snow of the season. All the ski mountains are probably loving this. So my grandma and my dad both absolutely love the color red, and they love like it's just their favorite colors. Like they both have the same favorite color. So I was like, okay, well, I can just like my grandma didn't pick the pattern for her sweater because I wanted it to be more of a surprise, like birthday / Christmas gift. Her birthday's in August, but like she saw it in after August when we saw her, and then I made some tweaks, and I'm going to give it to her on Wednesday when I see her for Thanksgiving. So it'll be a in-between gift. And she was very, very excited. She's like, no one's made me a sweater since I was a little girl, because she's mid-80s now. So she was born in the late 30s, early 40s. So she was Depression, World War II time. So yeah, so she was very excited about it. So I bought enough yarn of that, or at least I thought I bought enough yarn to do both sweaters. But her sweater ended up taking more yarn because her arms needed to be longer and the body needed to be longer and a bit wider. So I ended up ordering more of this yarn when I ordered the drops in Nepal for my book club cardigan, which I have been working on. I've made significant progress. You will see that later, I believe. Probably tomorrow I'll film a podcast episode, and then you'll see it, and I don't know which order it'll go out in, so but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, perfect. So that's why it's not the right weight of yarn, but I'm okay with that because this is an alpaca wool blend, so it'll be super duper warm, and he'll get to be a part of the process. So again, this is the Breeze sweater, or if you're looking on it on Ravelry, he I think puts I don't know what he is. I don't know. He puts the name of it in whatever language his like native language is. So I think it's the Windbowen pullover on Ravelry, but it's by Lassie Matberg, and if you look up him as a designer, there is a men's pattern, a women's pattern, and a children's pattern. So I am obviously following the men's pattern. I'm doing, I believe, a size large, which surprisingly, like the size large in the men's, the chest, so like the chest measurement for the men and the women's, in both of the larges, the women's is like an inch bigger. So I think it's like 44.5 for the men's, and it's 45.5 for the women's in the large. So, but probably the fit is slightly different and stuff, so all that. But I am changing the color work of the sweater. So he has, in the men's and the children's, he has the color work motif all, like the entire sweater is in the same color work motif, so it's in this kind of geometric color work design. But my dad saw the women's like the picture of the women's color work, which only has it on the yoke. So after you've joined, because this is bottom up. This is my first bottom up sweater. I just got an email about my assignment has been graded that I didn't. Yeah, I figured I didn't do well on it because I didn't complete it, but I'm getting the end of quarter blues, so I'm really not wanting to complete my work right now. It's a struggle. But it's my first bottom up pattern. I'm using Drops Lima in the uni color 3609 and whatever the creamy, it's more of an off-white, so it's probably closer to an ivory color is. And yes, so I have done the body. So I've completed the body, and I was actually working on the sleeve on take 1 of this video. And so I got a lot of it done. I also worked on the sleeve yesterday. But he has you, again, I know I talked about this in take 1, but a lot of I believe it's just like Scandinavian patterns, because Veronica Lindberg's Arctic Light sweater, I complained on the sleeves that the decreases, she gives you an inch count, so like how many inches in between decreases rather than how many 1, 2, 3, 4, how many rows between decreases, and this pattern does the same thing. So Matt Lassie gives you an inch number between increases as well, which I'm realizing I like more, because your row in your gauge swatch, it gives your stitches to number of stitches to number of rows per, like generally it's 4 inches or 10 centimeters. But your row gauge is way harder to change than your stitch gauges. So generally people just only look, or at least me personally, I do gauge swatches. I did a gauge swatch for this in color work too, because I wanted to practice the color work motif. Doesn't normally happen, but yeah. So so you're generally, when you change your needles, it'll change your stitch gauge more significantly than your row gauge. So I like having the giving the measurement in between increases or decreases rather than a row count, unless it's like something super long, like 5 inches. Then just give me like something like that. It would just be easier to do rows almost. I don't know. Honestly, I don't actually know. It doesn't really matter, because then you know that your increases are going to be the correct width apart, because my 3 inches could be someone's 2, or my 3 rows could be someone's 1 row if you're really tight or someone's really loose. So having this, I know that my gauge for 1 inch, like 1 inch, the number of rows in 1 inch is about 6. So I just do 6 rows, and I only had to measure on the first couple. I just do 6 rows, and then I do an increase, or 2 increases on the beginning of an end of the rows. So yeah, and I actually need to count, so I will be doing my next row, which is my increase row, and then I will be counting, because it also gets rid of the necessary, like, because he also does another thing that I like, where he, instead of giving you increase 5 times and then continue on in stockinette, he gives you just the stitch count. So he's like, increase to this amount, and then like, I think he says increase to this number of stitches, and then he says you have to like cast off some stitches for the underarm and all that. I don't know. It's a really simple pattern. It's only one page. Technically, it's two because one page has like all the instructions, and then the other page has the colorwork motif. But the colorwork motif is only this big, and the book is like that big. So it's mostly just like a picture of him in the sweater. So it's a really simple pattern. I'm not saying it's easy. It has been easy for me, but I wouldn't consider it a beginner pattern because it's so simplified and literally just one page in the book. So, yeah. So I actually need to count. I said that. But I actually had to redo the sleeve. So I did the sleeve to here. So I finished 2 patterns. So I did the colorwork motif 2 pattern. And then I had my dad try it on, and he likes his arms, like sweaters, looser because he wears them over stuff a lot of the time. So I went back, ripped it all back, and even though it fit him, it wasn't as loose as he wanted. So I ripped it back, and it's 2x2 ribbing, so I'll probably end up blocking it stretched out slightly, and it'll probably relax stretched out. But I went back, and in the pattern, it has you cast on, knit the ribbing, and then increase a bunch for 1 round, and then start your colorwork motif, like start your sleeve, your colorwork motif increasing. But what I did, because I changed 2 things. One, I gave a 2-stitch buffer on each side. So this is the beginning round, and I did 2-stitch buffer. So on each, so this is not in the pattern, but you see the pattern didn't match up, and I didn't want that. It was confusing, and I didn't like that in the first round. So I did a 2-stitch increase, and then, so theoretically I could have increased here, but instead I measured it and I was like, okay, this is about 2 inches. So I'm going to need to increase 2 times, which means I need to increase 8 stitches. So I took that, what the finished stitch number was here is what I was originally going to cast on, but I took the stitch number here and then I added 8 to it, I believe. Or I added 4. I added 4 to it because 2 plus 2 is 4. I can maths. So I added 4 to it, and that was my cast on amount. And then I knit up the motif, and then I immediately started the increases. So you can see I've increased. It's been increased. So now I take that number and then I count the number of increases I've got, all marked with nice stitch markers, and times the number of increases. But it's confusing, but I just go 2, 4, 6, 8, and then add that number to, actually I can probably do it here, but yes. And then once I finish this round, I will start the second sleeve, and I kind of want to have the second sleeve done before I film the next podcast. I'm like really not in Sleeve Island. I've been doing such complicated work right now that I'm quite enjoying just working in stockinette and like being able to read or like watch TV and just like not think, because it's like the color work is so insignificant amount. Like I think it took me like probably an hour to complete the color work chart because it's a pretty small like number this wise, but it took me a bit longer because I had to do it on DPNs. So that's kind of why it's not the prettiest color work. It's because it's on DPNs and stuff. Sorry, the house is rumbling, and I think it's because a plow's going by. So yes, and I will have a lot of knitting time because I'm gonna be. I have work tomorrow, so I have to teach or coach swim team tomorrow, and then I have no work the rest of the week, and I don't have school today. So it will be quite a bit of like knitting time that I have to do. So hold on. Okay, so I might need to look at the pattern. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to go run upstairs and get the book for the pattern because I believe I'm getting close to the number of stitches I need to increase to. So I actually need to look at the pattern. I will be right back, and we're still doing strong. The green light that I think you can see, because I can see it on my thing, is going strong on battery life. So I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. I have the book, Viking Knits by Lassie Mattberg. So I also have sticky noted for the ones I really want, or the ones I thought he would like. So this, I can show you this because this is all. So this is the Breeze sweater, all the tension and stuff. So this, as you can see, is fully all color worked all the way around, but that's not what my dad wanted. He saw the photo, because this was the first pattern that I thought of him for. So he saw the photo of this one and he really liked this one. But we were also like, when I first said I remeasured him and like was gonna cast on and stuff, he went through like photos of like sweaters like he saw, and he really liked the ones that had the color work wrapped around the bottom. So he wanted, I was like, I can totally do that for you, like if you really like that one. And he was like, yeah, I really like it like that. And so I modified the pattern like that. So yeah, and then I absolutely love all the cable, like, because so this is very much, it is color work and cabled. So I recommend going through. There's a lot of like traditional patterns, but there's also a lot of cool ones. Like I really wish there was a women's, so some definitely, it is definitely like men's pattern heavy. So I really wish he had done a women's pattern for this, because I absolutely love the look of this. That's the Lassie sweater. But the one I really want to make for myself is just double checking that this is the one. Yeah, so I believe I have two I actually kind of really want to make for myself. So it is just looking for the second one. There it is. Okay, so it is the Sunburst sweater. I absolutely love the cable like look of that. And then the Joy sweater. Let me get you a better. So that one's, so this one also comes in kids. So this is a better kind of more overall photo of that. So bit of a rant. So those are the ones I want. I'm just gonna look at the pattern until there are, okay, so I have two more increasing rounds. Okay, so I also kind of need to obviously I'm going to do the desired thing, his desired length, but I think he had like, it was not 14. I don't remember how long he wanted his sleeve, so I will measure it when he gets, like have him try it on when he gets back to the underarm. And then, yeah. So, oh yes, another thing. Kind of on like the VEG patterning of, I believe it's a Scandinavian, like northeastern European thing. So like Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, Poland, like those kind of like the peninsula of Europe, and then the countries like around it, tend to have vaguer patterns. And I watch these two twins, and occasionally, sometimes, their younger sister will do it, and they both knit, and their names are Kalila and Kay. So Callie and Kay. And they recently just finished doing a 7-day knit the Korshaven sweater in 7 days, which is like a basket weave bottom up sweater. And I actually watched like the first 2 or 3 days of that and then had to stop watching it because they just like, not only did, at least in their TikTok videos, they kept complaining, but like it just got like slightly, and this is nothing on them, like I love their videos, it's literally just for this like one. They were very frustrated with the pattern and how vague the pattern was, and kind of like how the pattern, almost like the pattern wouldn't spoon feed them the instructions. Like they had to be able to read their work. Like it was a bit confusing in like the stating and stuff, which I get. Like confusing patterns are confusing and they suck. And like I complain about it a couple times, or I go, or like I just put it down for a few days and then I stop. Or I just stopped doing sweater. But it felt like every video they just like kept complaining, and it just like became like, it's kind of a pet peeve of mine to just like keep complaining about the same thing. So I eventually stopped, and I think it's just the way like, and I believe one of the twins, I can't tell them apart, I don't remember which one they are. They insist on having the same, like they insist on being identical twins pretty much, which like is okay, but like don't expect me to. I think I figured out one of them. I think I saw in a video has like a note, like a septum piercing, but I can't remember which one. So one of them did issue an issue an apology and was like, "Hey, this is like, don't. This is just our feelings on it," and like was very good about it. And I believe it's just the way Scandinavian or like pattern designers from this region write their patterns, and I'm fully okay with it because I can understand, and I can like, yes, there's some frustrating parts, but I can like generally get over it and like figure it out. But if you're a person who likes really direct instructions, who needs really direct instructions, it can be frustrating, and I understand that. So that's not always the most fun, but it's a part of having a hobby like this where you have to have instructions for different things. And if you really like the end product of something, you have to be willing to push through the or work around the instructions given to get that end product. And if you can't get through it, then you don't get the end product, or you have to pay somebody else to make it for you. So that's all I'm going to say on that. But yes, I can't wait for them to come out with because they're starting on the Quinta, I believe it's Quinta sweater test knit. They're part of that test knit. And I can't wait for them to do it because I absolutely loving the look of the Quinta sweater. And I want to make it so badly. Like, I'm getting, and this kind of goes with my next point, is I'm actually getting 2 Advents, and I want that to be my daily Advent sweater, the sweater I make with my daily Advents, because I just think it's perfectly made for that, and it's like the perfect sweater to use up, and I love the look of it, and I just find it so cool that like you could make it almost like kind of like a sunburst if you do the pattern right. So the pattern is it's a color work pattern that you alternate like every other, like you have your main color and then you have like your working your color work yoke, every row, I think it's like from the pictures I've seen, it's every 3 rounds you're using like 2 colors, and the color switches, and it like alternates the colors every stitch. And I feel like it would look really cool either as like stripes, completely different colors, or if you like are a dyer or you get mini skeins and you just like get like a hue, either a rainbow of like a hue, or what I would really love to see is like a sunset. So I would love to see it go from like a deep bright orange, go from like a bright like almost like bronzy orange to like sort of less saturated oranges into yellow, and then from yellow into pink, and then from pink into like a blue, and then from blue into like a dark purple. And I would absolutely love that. Like, I don't think I would be able to find those colors, or I would have to like shop around a lot to find the perfect like hue of colors to do that. But I would absolutely love to make that. And so going into my, sorry, I think someone came home. What time is it? Maybe not. Okay, but going into my yarn advent, I got 2 different advents from this shop called Through the Wardrobe Yarn Co., I believe. And I got both of her advents that she was offering. So she offered a weekly advent of 500-gram skeins of whatever base you wanted, and then I got the daily advent, and the weekly advent, or both advents are Narnia related, but the daily advent is just kind of like inspiration of Narnia and I believe the seasons, and the weekly advent is based off of the 5 like kings and queens of Narnia. So Susan, Peter, Susan, Edmund, Lucy, and Caspian. And I absolutely love Narnia. My dad used to read to me and my sisters as kids at night, so he would like read at least a chapter or 2 a night for us to fall asleep. Like, and generally we didn't fall asleep until he was done reading because we loved the story and how he read it and stuff. But hold on. Hi, so sorry about that. It's been a little while since the last clip, so if the lighting or anything has changed, that is why. My mom ended up calling, so I paused the video and she had some groceries for me to grab and run upstairs, and then we talked for a little bit and I had to make another phone call and figure some stuff out. So I believe I was talking about the advents. So I got 2 advents. They're from Through the Wardrobe Yarn Co. I got a weekly and a daily. Oh yes, so I really wanted advents. Like, I've been wanting advents or a yarn advent for a while. So I like when I saw these come up, I believe I found them through Nick California, who is another YouTuber I watch. She mentioned Through the Yarn Co. and probably something about the advents a while back. And I looked at her Through the Yarn Co.'s Instagram, and I saw that they were Narnia inspired, and obviously her Through the Wardrobe Yarn Co. is another reference to Narnia because obviously the way you get to Narnia is through the wardrobe. If you've ever read it or watched the movie, The Chronicles of Narnia, Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe. So I absolutely love it because it was one of the series my dad read to me and my siblings as kids. So it's totally like a nostalgic thing for me. I love watching it. I actually this is making me want to reread it. But the whole reason I'm telling you this is not because I found the two perfect patterns for my advents, the Kintra sweater, and which I told you about. And I'm thinking the stripe hype sweater would be my other one because I haven't made a striped sweater before, and I think I really like that. Again, that was another pattern I was kind of introduced to by Knit California. So, and it's got 5 colored stripes and it's 5 yarn advents. So it also all depends on what they look like when I see them. So, yeah. But the reason I'm telling you this is because this video will probably be coming out on the 2nd. And it might not matter to you too much, but I have been think I'm gonna make the plan of like an opening, unboxing, my thoughts video on each yarn, like the yarn, each day of the countdown. So you'll get 1 yarn advent Monday through Saturday, and then you'll get 2 yarn openings, not 2 separate videos, but like 2 in 1 video on Sundays. All the way up until Christmas, and that'll be kind of like my Vlogmas or my Craftmas, because I really don't have any ideas for Craftmas. So like that would be my plan for that. You would get that instead of Craftmas, and I would post those across my social media platforms. So I'd put them on YouTube Shorts, I'd put them on TikTok, I'd put them on Instagram Reels. I don't link my Instagram here just because most of my family follows that. So it's under a different name. It's not associated with this YouTube account at all. I don't want to get a new one. So maybe once I get a bit more of a following on here, I will link it, and then you'll be able to see those. And I'm totally not like, this is the most I've ever been on the internet is these YouTube videos because they're a lot easier for me to make than the short form videos. So, but the reason I'm telling you this is because of some family stuff. I don't know her name. I feel this is very bad, but I can't just say I don't know their names. But the owner and dyer through the wardrobe, I think she got sick and her family got sick and stuff, so she wasn't able to dye the advents and get all the yarn out when she wanted to, because she said like when you were buying them, she said she was planning on shipping them out mid-October so they'd get here with plenty of time for Christmas. But that ended up not happening, and she just recently shipped it out. I think I checked my yarn advent a couple days ago, and it ended up being in Cincinnati. So it's in the United States, which is nice, but it was scheduled to be delivered on Wednesday. And they give you DHL is the shipping thing she's using, and they give you an all-day window. And I'm supposed to be leaving, I was planning on leaving Wednesday morning and driving down to go to my grandma's house. I would be going with my parents, but I'm taking a separate car because I'm staying longer than them. But to go to my grandma's house in Sacramento for Christmas. So theoretically, I could have changed the shipping address, but then I didn't want it to get there later. I might look into that though. But right now, it is scheduled to. I have rescheduled and pushed it back because I said vacation, changed the shipping date to December 2nd. So you will get this video on December 2nd, and you will also be getting, I might actually post this December 1st instead, just so that there's something there. And So you'll get this in a little 6 days. I'll probably end up editing and scheduling that today as well as I work on my schoolwork. But yes, you will end up getting one video, but 3 skeins of yarn on the second. So you'll get the 2 meant for the first and then the 1 for the second. So that'll be a kind of nice spring into it. But yes, this video is now about the same length as the other one. I have made pretty significant progress. I only have 1 more set of increases to do. So honestly, I think I haven't been putting on the stitch markers, so those are all old, like from a couple yesterday. But I made, I think, like that much progress. So like a good 1.5 inches, probably 4 or 5 centimeters that I did. So I hope you all had an amazing Thanksgiving if you celebrate Thanksgiving. If you're from America and you see this, happy Thanksgiving. Happy late Thanksgiving, because this will be late. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving food is not my favorite. I think I eat like 4 things off the table at Thanksgiving. I eat the turkey, I eat rolls with cranberry sauce, and I eat green beans and smashed potatoes. So that's potatoes. It's mashed potatoes, but the skin is still on it. So skin, mashed potatoes, smashed. So Thanksgiving food's not my favorite, but Thanksgiving desserts are my favorite. I absolutely love pumpkin pie, and no one else in my family does. So sad. Absolutely hate it. I don't know. I don't know why, but I love pumpkin pie. That rhymed. So, hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Hope you ate some great food. Hope you had spent some time with family or friends if you did Friendsgiving. If you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you had a wonderful last week of November. I hope you have a wonderful spring into Christmas time. If you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope, you had a happy week. It was a good week for you. And happy Christmas if you celebrate Christmas, because I celebrate Christmas. Happy Hanukkah if you celebrate Hanukkah. Happy holidays if you celebrate any other holiday, because I don't. I mean, like, I know Kwanzaa, but I've never met someone who celebrates Kwanzaa. And I know there's probably some, like, pagan celebrations this time of year, because winter is generally like the time you celebrate stuff. So happy holidays, happy whatever you celebrate. Let me know what you celebrate down in the comments, and some fun facts or some traditions you guys have this time of year. And goodbye.